The interesting part is that we were mainly the ambassador for Germany, even though we were 4 black people from the Caribbean.
Hey, it's Philip in London, and I just want to say a quick thank you for all your comments. We got messages from Poland, Denmark, Italy, the UK, from Costa Rica, South Africa, and Australia. So that really shows how much the music of Boney M still means to people all around the world 50 years after it all began. So without further ado, here we go, the second part of my interview with Liz Mitchell about 50 years of Boney M. It's quotable. Many people in Germany and the UK might not even know that you toured in the most remote of places to gigantic audiences. Mm-hmm. And you were, I think, the first pop group who went behind the Iron Curtain and played there. So yes, that must have been a very surreal experience.
It was such a wonderful experience, not only for us, the group, you know, Bobby, Marcy, Maisie and myself, Frank, and it was wonderful for all the world because the international press, for the first time, could travel to Moscow. I think we became so valuable in all of the meetings we attended. We had to go to the consulates and the embassies and have tea or eat meals and, you know, be ambassadors, put it that way. The interesting part is that we were mainly the ambassador for Germany, even though we were 4 black people from the Caribbean. It made no sense in one stage of it all. But, you know, it still, we did something that was so unique that the American television companies invited us to the US. In fact, that's how we ended up going to America.
There was this one moment that I thought was really impressive. We were at the SOPOT festival in Poland.
Right.
And you weren't allowed to sing Rasputin for political reasons, but then the audience kept shouting for it, and eventually you did play it. I was wondering, were there any consequences to that, any repercussions? Did people complain, authorities I mean?
You know, Rasputin is that song that when we arrived in Russia, talk about SOPOT, when we arrived in Russia, they also kind of said to us, we couldn't sing the song. But once we got to the hotel, all the bands in the reception area, and this hotel we're staying at had 4 reception areas, such a humongous place, and 4 bands that were all playing Rasputin. So I thought, well, why are they telling us we can't play it? I think it was out of fear. Somebody in the midst there was afraid. So in SOPOT, again, a similar encouragement came to us to say, don't do it, because we don't want to offend the hierarchy. But the people wanted it, you know. So, and obviously, at the end of the day, there was nobody to say, we're going to lock you up. You cannot go home because you sang Rasputin.
A lot of the songs, not necessarily Rasputin, but were originated from the Caribbean somehow.
Yes.
They didn't always have a copyright, and then Frank Farian presented them as his songs. Were you aware at the time, and how do you feel about that?
That is a sad part of my life story. Because when I went to Germany to meet with Frank, I didn't know I was going to be meeting with Frank, as I said. I honestly thought I was just going to do these 3 shows and I was going to go back home. 300 marks sounded really good at the time when you're broke. And when I heard the track, Baby Do You Wanna Bump, I went, oh, because I know the track, you know, it's Al Capone. And I thought, oh, he's covered it. You know, he's giving it a little extra lyric. So, okay. I never understood that Prince Buster did not get his credits. I mean, I don't know this man and I don't know the music. All I'm hearing is Baby Do You Wanna Bump? And I recognize this piece of music because I was a child in Jamaica when this song was a hit. So when we started working together, not that I knew anything about the music business. I was pretty innocent when it comes to registering songs and knowing how to become a member of any organization that takes care of you in show business. Basically, all I knew was that I can sing and I enjoy doing it. That was the height of my knowledge. And so when we recorded No Man No Cry, and he obviously had to give Bob Marley his money, because Bob Marley is very present and was registered. So this became a situation that then I realized, oh, so he's not actually recognizing the West Indian artist, like for instance Rivers of Babylon. It's an old Caribbean, West Indian, Jamaican Rasta man song, you know, and he tried to steal that Brown Girl in the Ring. This is an old Caribbean folk song that we all sing, and at the time my boyfriend and I had recorded it and registered it as our song, and then somebody in Germany who wrote the brass section for us decided to steal the song and said that he wrote it. And then when Boney M recorded the song, then they had to go to court to argue about who actually wrote the song, and I was puzzled that Frank Farian and this arranger could be arguing about a song that had nothing to do with them, you know. And I thought, so as I said, these are some of the disappointing things that happened and broke my heart, because I trusted that Frank, being a musician or a man who understood, would not be unfair to another musician.
Did you feel treated fairly by him?
I thought I was being treated fairly until I understood that I was being completely abused.
And did you ever think of suing maybe, or going to court at the time or later?
Well, let me put it this way. If you are a stranger as a young girl in a country where you don't speak the language, and everybody around you is telling you how lucky you are, and nobody wants to even listen to you, how are you going to take somebody like that to court? Who's going to pay for it when you can't even collect your royalties to be able to take them to court? I keep saying this, and I have to keep saying it. I want the German audience to understand that I have no overwhelming feeling about the German audience, because they have been marvelous. Without our German audiences, we would not have sold as many records, and they have been loyal to us, Boney M. My complaint, or my worry, it's not even a complaint anymore because it's gone. This conversation is just based on the 50 years looking at it, and the record company and those who stood behind Frank Farian are the culprits who decided that we weren't worthy.
It's also the documentary, a thing that I thought was such an oddity, where Frank Farian decided to record In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida with different singers called La Mama, and then released that and had you lip sync to it.
They wanted somebody else to sing, but they needed me in the show. And I said, no, I can't do that. And so they sent the material to England, and I sang the song. But when the song came back, the mix had me very low and this other person very high. And I said, Frank, I cannot do this. What do you want from me? I actually said to Ingrid, do you all want me to commit suicide? What are you trying to do to me? I literally said that to her, because I could not believe that they were squeezing the life out of me so hard over the years. They just needed anything that represented Boney M in me, they needed, and they were taking. And I was very disappointed, and so he got very vexed with me, and he didn't talk to me after that.
When was the last time you spoke to any of the other people, and on what terms?
Right, so during this period when Frank decided, okay, you can be Liz Mitchell, Boney M, it all came about because Frank had a lawsuit with Marcy, Maisie and Bobby, with their British company. They had a British group of people who were supporting them. And they sent me a letter and told me that I was absolutely not allowed to use the name Boney M behind my name. This was Bobby, Marcy and Maisie. So I thought, oh my God, how could I have sang all the songs and now you want to tell me I can't use the name? You didn't even come in the studio one day. You don't know how anything was recorded. How can you even have the nerve to do this? I thought it was very bold. Much as I love them very much, because I do, I just thought that was so bold of them to cancel me. So at this point, I realized I didn't have a friend in the whole setting, because Frank Farian had gone his way, everybody had gone their way. So he said to me, yeah, you can use the name. But if my colleagues maybe had not said to me, I can't use the name, I may not have felt so bad. But it's when they decided, after knowing that I'm the one who spent all the hours in the studio recording the songs, maybe they thought I didn't. I really don't know how you come to that conclusion. But they never liked to say my name. Nobody liked saying my name. I was the decliner, always the decliner.
So that means you haven't been in touch with them at all anymore?
That's
lately.
my point.
Okay.
It's a difficult situation because if they are the lead singers, how am I going to be fighting them every time we go to work? I'm the lead singer, you're the lead singer. No. What is that? What kind of life is that? So I did step away in my own way from the confusion. So if my colleagues feel that they are me, the voice they hear, brown girl in the ring is them, well, what can I do? I had to question myself. I thought, Liz, are you crazy? Maybe you didn't even sing those songs. I mean, the attitude of everybody sent me on a cuckoo journey for a while. And then I checked my voice and realized that is you. So don't worry. I'm not mad. I did sing those songs.
When you released your, I think it was your first solo album, No One Forces You, was there a dig at the others?
No, not really. That's interesting. It's a good lyrics. Yeah. Good lyrics. But at the time, I was, as I said, still born again, still trying to fight my spiritual fight, to stay in grace. And when that song came up, it was as if I was talking to myself. I was saying to myself, no one can force me to do what's right. I have to know. So it wasn't at anyone, it was for me.
So how do you feel then now about the 50th anniversary? You have a thing coming up at the Regent Cinema, an audience with Liz Mitchell, where you're going to tell stories from your life as well. How do you feel about this year, the anniversary year of Boney M?
I think this year is something I didn't plan, put it that way. Everything is falling into place without me even thinking about it or worrying about it. As I said, the year started pretty hard because my husband became very ill. And I thought, okay, well, maybe the Lord is sending me a really cool message to settle down, to back away. And I keep saying, maybe it's time for us to take time for ourselves. I told my husband, I said, we have worked, because he's been with me since we've been married and everything. We've traveled the world and we've worked very hard. And I think we've made a lot of people very happy over the years. But we have 5 of the most beautiful grandchildren. And I said to him, I think it's time for us to take time for ourselves to enjoy our children, because we do not know when the light's gonna go out, because the shock was that his light was gonna go out. Sorry, that was hard, very hard. So I just don't want to be arguing with anyone over stuff that's past and we can't change. Do you know what I mean? I just want to embrace life with the love I have, so sorry, in my heart. And just be me. I love people. I love my family. And I love my God.
Let me just say that it comes across. Thank you so much for this, and I really appreciate it, and I love that you do this. So thank you, and all the best for the anniversary.
Sorry for my tears.
Congratulations. Please don't be sorry for that. Thank you so much, Liz. It was a pleasure having you here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe. And if you haven't seen the first part of my interview with Liz Mitchell already, you'll find it here on Quotable.